the absolute finest entertainment on the internet. Join us in fighting back against evil.
It's hotter than a blacktop in July, sweating like a sinner in a church, and I just wanna get out with my crew tonight and shoot at the lights. Got a couple 40s full of pops and fun, looking for a good time, gotta live it up. Leave behind the city, hop inside my truck. No, we don't give up. We're gonna paint the night red. Who can holler till we're dead? We're down to turn up. We're up to get down. Saying, hey, y'all.
The Planet Hank live show, the finest podcast in the state of Vermont and taking over the nation. I'm back. I'm so happy to be back doing this show with you guys. I love doing this show. Thursday nights, 8 p.m., the Planet Hank live show, and we rock out. We do the Brattleboro News recap. We play some of the best news videos, and we give a chance for people to pop in and discuss and ask questions and do whatever. But let me do one of the most important parts right now. Let's go ahead and set the mood. Let's go ahead and set the mood. Tonight's show is going to be no different than all of the other shows that we do, and that it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. I've got Seth Viewer, who is the Club America run by Turning Point USA. He is a Spalding High School kid. He's 15 years old, and he has formed the very first club here in the state of Vermont. And he will be hosting a huge event coming in. Oh, wait a minute. Let's get this out of here. I don't actually want to listen to that song. Christ. That was awful, wasn't it? That was the worst. There we go. And so this event is February 20th. It's the very first Club America Turning Point event here in the state of Vermont, and it's going to be huge. It's up at the Barre Canadian Club, February 20th at 5 p.m. And I'm going to do one of the most important things here is I'm going to start to share this up. And I'm going to invite everybody to please help us. When you share, it sends a signal to the algorithm telling everybody in cyberspace that, hey, look, I think that other people would be interested in watching this. And it's highly effective for getting the message of freedom, America, the First Amendment, everything that we hold dear is going to be wrapped into this show somehow tonight, okay? And I really want you guys to be a part of that, and I know Seth really needs help. This kid is 15 years old. How courageous could you be to stand out against the status quo in a charged political climate across our state and across our nation that has unfolded into violence and drama and all kinds of fallout that is even just very simple relationships have been stressed or formed or lost. And so it's so important for us. The generations have already had our chance to leave our mark, to try to prop up the younger generations and let everybody, have the respect due and try to prop these kids up to do great. He says, the GOAT of Vermont, share, share, share. I'm glad everybody's following in. And I'll say one last thing. We're streaming on several platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and X, Elon Musk X. And we blow up over on X. It's very important for everybody to be a part of it. And share me up over there. So without any further ado, he says, hello from Russia. You see that? We got a spy in here already. We got a Russian supporter. Big shout out. We love Russia, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shut this down, and I'm going to invite everybody's friend and this kid that I'm truly proud of into the chat, Seth Fewer.
What's up?
There we go.
Good?
Now I can.
There we go.
Yes. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm great. Now, am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
Yes, you are.
Fewer.
Yep.
So now, could you introduce yourself to everybody watching? The numbers are rising quickly, and there's a bunch of comments out there. Actually, let me throw these comments up on the screen so everybody can see each other. Now, could you just introduce yourself and introduce this amazing club at Spalding High School that you have set up and you're a big part of?
Absolutely. So I am the president of the only Turning Point USA Club America chapter in the state of Vermont for the high school branch. I started it about last year, and it was a rocky start, to say the least. We started for our school, obviously, and after asking 9 different teachers and getting rejected by every single one, we moved over to what is called the Activism Hub, which operates outside of campus. But our mission is still the same. We still have all the same values. And yeah, we're looking to do great things here. Absolutely.
So tell me what they wouldn't let you do this at the high school. Can you talk to me a little bit about that and how that made you feel? Like, you know?
Absolutely. Well, typically when a Club America chapter is starting, they ask, maybe 1 or 2 teachers before getting accepted, but we had to go through 9, which is absolutely crazy to me. We even have some educators who openly post on their public profiles online about how much Turning Point is terrible. And we've really heard some terrible things from even teachers at our school, which is absolutely crazy to me. So yeah, we asked 9 different teachers, got rejected by every single one. And it really just goes to show what lack of appreciation they have, and they almost want the youth to fail, which it seems like.
Yeah, I can see how, like, I can totally feel that as you're saying it, how frustrated you were. Like, I could feel the frustration in that comment where you're saying, it's like they want the students to fail, that they were getting on their social media and saying some trashy stuff, etc. And does it feel like, as a youth looking up at the older generation, like, how does it, to me,
All right, we're back. So obviously these teachers are almost being paid to be our role models, essentially. And what it's really crazy to see is the terrible job they're doing almost. These people are really being paid to be our role models, and it's just not good.
Yeah. And so this comment right here from Janet in Bennington, she goes, I just went to a youth event in Vermont recently. They wouldn't allow a chapter at my kid's school in Bennington. So this is starting to feel like the trend. There's a lot of this occurring in the state. Have you heard other stories?
I have definitely heard a few stories or clubs where either getting discriminated against or just different stuff by teachers, which that's the greatness of Turning Point USA, is we don't need the schools. It's great if we can get inside the school, but even without the school, we're still going to be fine. We still have the Activism Hub. We're still going to do everything we set our goals to do.
So tell me this, like, now walk someone through who doesn't know anything about what the clubs actually do or what you do. Can you sort of tell us what do you do?
Absolutely. Well, my biggest goal as chapter president is to really just inform the community about what we're trying to do. And we're trying to just reach out and just really talk to people, get that open dialogue, see where they're coming from, make some connections with them. Because what I found most important about politics and Turning Point specifically is finding common ground and building off that, which is really the best part about what we do. But we host meetings, we host different events, obviously like the one coming up in February. It's going to be great. So we do different things like that.
Okay, and so I'm going to throw up a poster for Seth and his event. Here it is, first club event with the speakers, and wouldn't you know it, over there on the right side, you've got a very, very handsome speaker with a blue tie on. Look at that guy right there. We're going to be having Planet Hank speaking on behalf of this young man that I am so proud of for doing this, along with Paul Dame and Michael Booten. Now, Paul Dame is VTGOP chair, and Michael Booten is a representative out of Barre. And I think that that's a
Lost you for a second there.
yeah. Are there going to be some more speakers?
We are looking to have other chapter leaders come and speak. Obviously, we have the field representative for Club America. Her name is Renee. She's going to be speaking there. Chapter vice president Javian, he'll be speaking. We got a lot of good people.
And so one of the things about this that I really, when I think about you going to high school and basically putting yourself out there in this way, that I feel like in the state of Vermont is socially going to not be popular with the main group of people or even the teachers, like as we've already talked about. What are the kids like? Do the kids lash out? Do they look up to you? Do they hate you? What's it like at high school?
We definitely, in the most honest way possible, they really just don't care about politics, which is really deeply concerning to me. I'm trying to inform them about them.
Wow.
A lot of like my friends, obviously, they look up to me, look up to what I'm doing. One of my best friends, JV, and he's the chapter vice president. And I'm really thankful for the people that we do have and all their support.
So it's not a situation like, there's got to be at least some kids that freak out. There's got to be stuff going on.
Yeah. There have been people, I have heard people make some rude comments behind my back or anything, but you can't really let that stuff bother you too much. It's beneath me, really.
Yeah, you have to be able, have a little bit of thick skin. It makes me mad that you're having to face this cancel culture and names. What are some of the names? What are some of the things that they call you?
One of the newer ones, this is my personal favorite. They started to call me High School Hitler, which is definitely a good one. Mm-hmm.
High School Hitler.
Yep.
Get out of here, man. What about this? What about Turning Point makes people think that you should be called Hitler? What is the beef with this organization?
It's really just stereotypes, and they don't want to even hear out any other opinions than their own. It's really disheartening. It's like Turning Point. Our main thing is we try to listen to other people's ideas. We try to find the common ground in them. They're against that completely.
Like, they're that mad about Charlie Kirk?
Mm-hmm. That's definitely a factor.
You think that you think that he had so many moments owning the libs and made all those videos and all of that, like, that basically that's it. That's what the hate for the organization is over what he did.
I think they also don't like the fact that we have such a big reach at this point now, and their Turning Point USA is very influential.
So it's a moment where they're just trying to like they see it being potentially harmful to their platform and their power politically. Absolutely. So now it's just, this has to be the target. We got to get rid of this because they've got too much power.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good observation you just made right there. Because I was sort of assuming the other way, is that it was like, well, we just hate this guy and his content so much. But you're saying that it's the power, because those events are massive, and it's very influential.
Over 70,000 people in Arizona for his memorial, which I attended, and there was another, I think, 30,000 at America Fest 2025. It's really, I don't see any Democratic events that have that kind of attendance.
Yeah. Not even close. We could talk crowd size all day, and like we've done that. Everybody's teased each other already, but you want to have event crowd size competitions with a Turning Point event, especially the last ones, you forget it. Absolutely forget it. These are some of the biggest events in the history of, political events. So now, were you involved with Turning Point before Charlie Kirk's murder?
I was a part of Turning Point since December of 2024, I believe. And he was assassinated tragically in September of 2025. So I was a part of it for a good amount of time.
Right. And so when that happened and this went down, can you walk me through like where, like tell me where you were, like what you were doing and what you felt? Like what did it feel like for someone like you that your hero basically
Mhm.
got murdered in front of everybody?
I don't even know if I've said this story yet publicly, but I just was getting home from school. It was like 3 o'clock or something. And I just get a call from my dad. He was driving and he just said, I just heard on the radio Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck. And at first I didn't know what to say. I was like, okay, that really can't be good at all. I know the neck is really not a good place, obviously. I was scheduled to go work 'cause I have a job, and I was scheduled to go work at 4 o'clock. So I was getting ready to go to work. I called up my field representative. I was like, "Hey, is all of this true? Is all of this like real?" She was like, "Yeah, it's really not good, but we're just like pray for him, pray for their family." And it was really just crazy. So I was at work, and usually I have my phone on silent, but I guess I forgot to turn it on silent, and I was working, and I got a call from my field representative, and she said he just died. And I just, I don't usually cry, but I cried publicly at my job, and I had to leave because I just couldn't deal with that.
Yeah, I was really upset when I found this out myself, and so I got on the phone with some of the team members, and I was mad. And I'll say this, I will say this: some of my liberal friends called me to say that they were sorry, which I'll give them credit for on that, is that I was like, wow, and then obviously tell me about like what started happening about a it was like the tides turned,
Yeah.
and then it turned angry. Then they started being really nasty about this whole thing.
Absolutely. Well, first day, I took the next day off school, obviously, uh, just like a day to myself, and then I went back, and I did have a few teachers come up to me and like apologize because they knew what I was doing at the school, and I really do appreciate them for that. And then obviously, I don't know if you've seen it, but all the like the jokes about it on like online and on TikTok and stuff, I have zero toleration for that. It's not funny at all.
And now, did you see some of your teachers and some of these adults that you have to have in your life? I mean, it got pretty trashy, and there was a lot of people doing it. Did you see any teachers making comments about Charlie that were disgusting?
I did see one publicly online. I don't know if it was about his assassination specifically, but I saw something that someone posted, a teacher at my school, and they said something along the lines of people shouldn't be getting fired for like speaking their opinions about this, because at that time teachers were getting fired for saying that, not at our school but other schools.
Right. So you saw one teacher saying something that was inappropriate. Were they fired? Do you know of? Were they talked to? Did anything? Just nothing.
Nothing happened. And I don't know if I should say this, but I actually had that teacher too at the time when they said that, and nothing happened at all to them.
Wow. And we went through a lot with this. We saw Jimmy Kimmel.
Yep.
What do you think about what happened with Jimmy Kimmel and what he said?
He definitely made some comments that shouldn't have been said, and there was other factors for him losing the show too. Obviously, there was the whole blackface thing he did a long time ago, and just the ratings weren't great to begin with, so it's no surprise there.
Yeah, I mean, like every time I mess up, I end up in the same boat and I felt, it's like crap. I'm a comedian. I say stupid stuff all the time. And then when you run it back, it looks terrible. This is something, it's awful. And so when Kimmel started speaking, and I'm a softie sometimes, and even my team will probably get after me for this one. And, even when Don Lemon got took in at first, I read the indictment, and then I was like, oh, absolutely not. That's ridiculous what he did. You can't go in the church like that. You can't plan the whole thing and lie about it, but at first I was like, wow, that's messed up. South, and everybody was going through a lot,
Mhm.
and it all landed on him.
Yeah.
And God,
Yeah. You see, the thing about getting canceled for stuff like that, I'm not big in the whole cancel culture thing, but it gets to a point, you know what I'm saying? Like, it really, some things should stay in your head. That's all I gotta say.
yeah, and it's something that happens a lot, and both teams are guilty of it in some senses, and we need to forget about that. People say things, and we have to be able to turn the page and keep going, and keep dialogue going. If we get so dangerous with shutting people down, this could turn into a situation where people will start to be afraid to speak out at all. And to me, what I see with you here at this club that you've started, this is you not being afraid to speak up for what you believe in.
Mhm. What I have also seen, which is crazy to me, is some adults take it worse than teenagers do. I've seen that a lot
Yeah.
too.
I totally could see that. I totally agree with you. Is that these days the adults are the ones who are being very immature. Like even just like look at your demeanor. You're so calm, and I'm over here like yelling and moving around. Like it's just, and I'm 43 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like my son is just like you. He's 20, and he's so calculated and smart and well spoken. And I look back at him, and I'm like, where'd you learn this?
And that's really that's the importance of Turning Point USA, is because we empower the young people and we try to get them to do what's right in the world.
I will never say that this younger generation is stupid or lazy or don't care, because that's not the truth at all. And what I have seen from my son is that he is smarter than me. He is better kept than me. He is more calculated and has way better tact than me. And he is going to shoot way past anything that I have ever achieved. And I look up to him for the way that he carries himself. And I see it with tons of young people. And I wish that this older generation that you hear these generational warfare stories from, I wish that they would jump on board with what I'm saying. If they just supported you and built you up, you guys are going to fix all the problems that we are complaining about in politics. You guys, I have 100% confidence in to do great things for our country,
Mm-hmm. And just one example of like the adult thing, I don't know if you saw it, but we did a video at the No Kings protest, and there was
There you go.
Good?
You're on.
Good? There we go.
Yep.
All right. So there was, we did a video at the No Kings protest, and there was one gentleman who grabbed the microphone out of my hand and said, "F you, don't show this to anyone," when I just proved a simple fact. It was crazy.
Yes. And, and how old was the guy who grabbed the mic?
Ooh, probably mid 40s or 50s.
Right. It's like, buddy, you're assaulting a 15-year-old kid over free speech.
And all I said, because we were talking, and he said the Republican Party is a party of violence or something like that. And I said, oh, well, recently it seemed that the Democratic Party has been the party of violence. And that was all it took.
Right. Like, run back. I've done it at length on this show where I've read off every single politically violent event for the last 2 years. And it's mind-boggling how many, and we forget them so quick. And so, like maybe I'm just like right now, a little remembrance for all of the violence that we've had to endure over the last few years, boiling up in our politics with the last presidential election and going into election season. Even our town election cycles in our towns in Vermont are so toxic and just petty, arguing and attacking each other, and cancel culture. You can't get away from it, And I'm hoping and praying that we don't bring the violence into Vermont. I feel like a lot,
We will be having security guards at our event, in case you're wondering.
There it is.
Yeah.
So tell me about the event, Seth. Tell me all of that. Tell me, does it cost money? what people can bring, what they can't bring, what security is like, what parking is like for everybody?
Well, it's at the Canadian Club, so there's the parking that's available there. It's going to
It's
be
a
a
big
free
lot.
event. Yep, it's going to be a free event. I wanted to ensure anyone who wanted to
Nice.
come can perfectly come. We're going to probably have a donation bin in case people want to make donations. Totally optional. Security, we're going to have a few police officers there present, just because we've seen like
That's
some
huge.
things online. Yeah, obviously, don't bring any weapons. Don't do anything that will get you in trouble there. We're expecting protesters, but nothing we can't handle.
Right. And how the facility is set up, the protesters, I feel like, I mean, it's not going to happen. It's going to take them a lot to drive there. It's hard to walk to that place. Like and so at most of my events, I'm just going to give you some confidence here. They have threatened this to me several times that they're going to show up, they're going to do stuff, even being as trashy as saying they're going to Charlie Kirk me, they're going to do all this stuff, God forbid. And we're always in the back of our mind. But what I have experienced is that face to face, off of the internet, there's a lot more common ground, and that someone just genuinely might want to be heard, and they might not be as mad as they might be while they're posting online, or may seem. When someone writes a nasty comment, it's less personal than what, they come all the way out and then they're right in front of you, and, and it's easily identifiable. I just don't want you to have this anxiety that there's going to be a large crowd of people there to do anything to you or ruin your event. They are not going to do that.
Well, my plan for if they do, I'm actually welcoming it a little bit. I'll go out there and have the conversations with them.
Just be careful with that. Like, if they're going to do that, we don't even need to do that. It'll just keep you inside, and I know that I would pray that in Vermont, the people in this state and the culture and the traditions that we hold dear here, and how Vermonters are, regardless of politics, that this is not represented by some violent radical. We do get very passionate. We might have some rude things written on signs or some pretty exaggerated posts. I think most of the anger we see here is, social media based. We do have the protest culture, but hopefully we don't get a bunch of anything happening. She said, "Be anxious for nothing."
Perfect.
Lauren Tiller writes, "What a well-spoken and respectful young man. Good on you, Seth." So I have something here that somebody wrote a very nice question for you, and I'm going to find this. Okay. Now, Ashley Bettis asks you, Seth, she says, "What advice would you give to a high school student who would like to try and start an organization within their school?"
Well, the easiest part about it is how easy Turning Point makes it for the students. You just go to any one of their websites, and there'll be a simple button that says "Get Involved." You do it. You can have meetings at a church, at a house, if the school doesn't allow it, obviously. They'll send you a chapter handbook with all of like the steps to take if the school says yes or no. It's really, they make it as easy as they possibly can, which is I'm really thankful for.
So some advice for the students would be to just do it. That's sort of what you're telling me. It's so easy. Just do it. Go to the website.
There's nothing stopping you.
Right. And be confident with this group, and within this pack of people in the state that we have all sort of been reaching out to each other, and we're growing and we're building this strong team. And with that, I'm proud to see that includes young people, because for a very long time, those in the center or on the right, I feel like there was very few young people who were interested in getting involved into politics, especially conservative politics at all. And so it's very having the courage to step out like this makes, me see a wonderful future. I'm inspired by it 100%, Seth.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely very thankful, because obviously the youth is the future. getting him started off on the right foot is very important.
Okay, so we're gonna ask. Okay, we got. Oh man, this guy writes. Charlie Kirk got shot in the neck, but because he questioned Israel and and Turning Point is a communist scam. What do you say to people like this?
Mm-hmm. Thanks for sharing your opinion. It'll be duly noted. That's all you say.
Duly noted.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen this fracture with the party with this. America first or Israel, and do we allow them? And and I feel like it's very detrimental to the base. And I would categorize it under infighting, and I just don't see the value of it really. I understand the concept of America first, like let's reduce foreign wars, let's stop wasting money, but in that message we can't lose Jewish Americans, and foreign allies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that we could come up with a wiser way to go about that conversation, than the podcast wars.
Mm-hmm.
Renee writes, the school can't turn you down. The federal government says so.
It's true. It's true. Glad Renee's here. She's the best.
Renee is awesome. And so for people who don't know, Renee is the regional representative for Turning Point, and, is a very strong advocate for all of the youth involved with this, and is a source of information. So everybody, please follow Renee. She's in the comments, and follow all of this stuff with, Club America and Turning Point. Now, what I'm going to do, since this is a news show, what I'm going to do, Seth, is, I'm going to play a video of a situation that happened here involving some of our courageous first responders in Vermont. And we're both going to watch it, and then we're going to react to it. So here we go. We'll play the video. Fighter.
What are you doing, Adam?
I'm Hank with Brattleboro News and PlanetHank.com, bringing you the latest from our community. Brattleboro police responded to a medical emergency at the Covered Bridge Inn off Putney Road in North Brattleboro. While EMS was rendering care, the subject, Jacob Mattis, is seen on security footage attempting to choke a female firefighter.
It sounded like it. What are you doing, Adam?
Officer Ethelwald of the Brattleboro Police Department was able to quickly tackle Mr. Mattis and put him into handcuffs and place him under arrest. Mr. Mattis has been arrested recently during a warrant raid of his hotel room, where he was found in possession of guns and narcotics, according to a Brattleboro Police press release. He is now charged with aggravated assault, assault on a protected professional, disorderly conduct, and violation of his conditions of release. He is being held on $10,000 bail, and he was scheduled to appear in court on January 30th. He is currently being held at Southern State Correctional Facility. Just because you are arrested does not mean that you're guilty of a crime, and the investigation is ongoing. For the latest, follow me on social media and visit our website. I'm Hank with Brattleboro News and PlanetHank.com. So, what's your first reaction? React to that.
We are so thankful to have our first responders. They should not have to put up with this stuff. It's terrible.
Our female first responders are dealing with a ton. There's so many stories of them getting abused like this, and sexually assaulted.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think about the idea of that? Like, this guy, he was just arrested, and he had a bunch of fentanyl and drugs and guns and everything else, and had a warrant, and he's already out on the street, and is having another drug scenario. It ended with him actually trying to attack somebody this time.
That's really the fact that they let them out so soon after something just happened and leave people open to the situation escalating. It's really not good for anybody. It's really not good.
It's just this breakdown in Vermont's legal system. Like, there's so much speculation and spin on this topic of why we have a revolving door in the state. Is it funding? Is it ideology? Is it jail cell space? Is it a liberal judge letting him out? Are our policies just completely ruined by politics at this point? Because it feels like on the left, there's this pressure to move away from what they call carceral approaches, as in going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And on the right, there's this pressure that we want to increase the police and get more jails and, rule with the basic conserve the way we've been doing it in the past, which, has, there's a lot of people who like to say stuff like, jail is, nobody's ever proved that jail does anything. It just makes your life worse. That's not true. Jail has rehabilitated millions and millions and millions of people for 1,000 years. There's been some bad applications, but to say that nobody ever went to prison and learned their lesson, got out and said, I'm not doing that again, I mean, it just seems like a lie.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. It's basically just grown-up timeout at this point. They sit there, they learn their lesson, and I think it is helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah, I do think that it could be very helpful, especially for somebody who's addicted to fentanyl. Another huge problem that we have here in the state is our drug usage. And so, is it something that would be helpful to them to be held for 21 or 30 days and be forced to detox, Or should we continue this? Nobody's being held on pretrial. You're out on a citation. Because right now, basically, you can have bail if and then they can put conditions of release.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two options. And they can hold you with no bail. They can hold you, but it's very hard for them to do so. They have to go about making it a mandatory reason, or like a very severe crime. And they said that here's the reason why. We have to argue why you're not allowed to be released. And so I feel like for someone like you, being a kid and looking at the older generation, I mean, do you see the drugs hurting people like that? Do you see how suffered and how destitute a lot of our population is? That man's like 40 years old, and that's
the
his life.
The homeless population in Vermont, definitely a good amount of them are, doing substances, which is really disheartening. And they could definitely in some situations, prison, like you brought up a really good point. It could be like a good detox for them, and maybe it could in the long run help them get back on their feet. Honestly,
they do that a lot in New Hampshire. They do that. That's something that they do, is that they, you violate your parole, your probation or parole or whatever. Immediately you get put into jail for 21, days detox. You fail a urinalysis. There's like a whole process, like you're locked back up and you're detoxed, and we don't have stuff like that happening here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you see drugs like that in the high school? Is it they're cracking fentanyl?
No, thankfully not.
Wow. Yeah. And that was a concern that I have. And I know a lot of Vermont voters and families have they're scared because what they see on the streets, we basically have a fentanyl and crack cocaine crisis, and an epidemic. And, is that playing out in the schools? Because I know here in Brattleboro, we do have drugs like that in Brattleboro High School, and so it's a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, obviously, the school I go to is pretty big. I can't speak for everybody, but for the most part, I haven't seen anything. The only thing I have ever seen, and I know there's a lot of cases of this, is the youth vaping, which is also really horribly terrible.
So Lori Johnson writes, there are more drugs in the prisons here in Vermont than on the streets. If our state can't keep it out of prisons, how will they ever stop it from coming to the state? And, now, I mean, obviously you've never been to prison. What do you think? You think that there's more drugs in prison than there is on the street? Or is that sort of a wives' tale?
Maybe in the holding rooms or the evidence rooms, but I don't know if I would see it, just on the floors.
Ian Buck writes, I call bull on that, sir. There's drugs in all Vermont high schools. And Renee kind of backs it up, says, unfortunately, this is true.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's very sad. She said, you can try to force detox. However, if they don't support you after release, they will relapse. And that is a huge problem that we're seeing, this revolving door, and you brought up a good point. Our homeless population are addicted to drugs. And there's several people who question, where did they come from? And then so when they get picked up for a crime and then they go in and maybe a detox happens in jail and then they get released and they're homeless again, they're definitely going to relapse. And we see this all the time,
We do. They do have a lot of those public housing places where they have like monitoring, I'm pretty sure. I think some situations where those are good.
We need way more of that. It's called sober living.
Yeah,
a sober living facility is like where you can go to a halfway house or sober living after you get released, and you have to check in and they watch and you do your analysis, and you have to have a job and you contribute, and that we have zero of those here in Windham County. We have no options for anybody down where I'm at. Now, there are a few places in the state and some rehabs, but as I've looked into it, for like a 30-day detox in this state, it's up to $145,000. And then for the remaining program of their 30-day program, it's $145,000 for the 7-day detox and another $45,000 on top of that for the 30-day program. So it's around, $200,000 for programs that are too short to begin with. And there are very few seats available in this state. Now, there are options that are covered by Medicaid so that, homeless people and stuff can get them. But what they keep doing is jamming the program and cutting down what's covered and what's not. And we all know that that's not long enough. That's not long enough for these people to truly break the addiction and this cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, what I'll do right now, Seth, is I'm going to throw up the poster again and play this for everybody. Whoops, there it is. And so, first club event, Club America. Speakers are Michael Booten, VTGOP Chair Paul Dame, and the illustrious Planet Hank is going to bring down the house with I've got a whole speech prepared, buddy. You better be ready to listen, Seth, because I'm going to be dropping some knowledge. Okay. I'm going to be spitting some game. So tell your friends, listen up. Hank's coming out,
Oh yeah.
How many people do you expect to show up from your school?
For my school specifically, I'm expecting a good amount, maybe 40, 50 kids.
Wow.
I think they said the club holds 200, so I'm expecting a packed house.
It's going to be a packed house. It's definitely going to be a packed house. And anything else you want to tell me about the event, and basically like give yourself a little plug on your social media, and let's do a little following.
Yeah, you can follow the Instagram at FewerHQ and the Club America Instagram. It's, I think, Club America in Barre, Vermont.
And everybody, go follow this kid. Okay, like for me, my interest in this is literally to show these kids the way. I want, if I could give them a little bit of knowledge or tell them something, is what I would say is that I know about is cancel culture and it really made me upset to watch some of the stuff being leveled at Seth and some of the comments that I hear out there, and the way that, you know, the Reddit people and the trolls went after a young man, you know. And I really want to prop this kid up. So everybody go ahead and share it up and follow this guy, Seth Fewer. And I'm so proud of you, buddy. And I can't wait for the event.
Don't even get me started on the Reddit stuff. It's a rabbit hole, to say the least.
It's a rabbit hole for sure. And anything on Reddit is terrible. It's garbage, you know.
It's all anonymous. People have no shame in saying really whatever they want.
Yeah, the anonymous poster thing is wild. So they you know, in a lot of the comments, it feels like they don't even actually care about it. They're just commenting to be trolls.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So thanks for coming on, man. I'm excited. Seth Fewer, everybody.
Can't wait to see you there. Better be a good speech.
Oh, it will be great. I promise. I'll work on it a little more. Later, Seth. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. So, man, I'm so proud of this young generation. Look at that kid. That kid is awesome. Okay. And so I'll be speaking up there, and I invite everybody from Windham County. You guys got to come up. Bring your kids up. We got to get one of these in the Brattleboro High School. We need to all work together and get these clubs set up all over the place. And so another situation I want to talk about has been happening around here in Brattleboro and all the things that we do. And so I'm going to just play some videos here and discuss a situation where some complaints about my own First Amendment and everybody else's First Amendment rights and freedom of speech came into public debate. And I've been in the newspaper 5 times in a row. I'm on the front page today. Hello, I'm Hank. If you don't know, I run Brattleboro News, which we're all talking about right now. First up, I would like to offer a copy of the Constitution for anybody who would like a copy. And would anybody like a copy? Seems like we've got some people who quite possibly need to brush up.
Thank you.
Point of order.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so just be sure you direct your comments to the chair.
Of course.
Okay.
So if we all flip to page 40, we will be looking at the Bill of Rights, particularly the
Please
First
sit down,
Amendment,
Mr. Hennessy.
which what'd you say?
I asked Mr. Hennessy to sit down, and he has.
So during the First Amendment, it's the law respecting the establishment of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and the right of people to peacefully assemble. And so I think we're hearing comments being leveled at the police department and at myself, but those do not supersede the First Amendment, and I think that it would be an abuse of authority and completely inappropriate to be the first town in the history of the United States of America to even discuss an ordinance that would limit freedom of speech, especially considering the town's desire to film ICE. So what you're basically saying is that if ICE comes to Brattleboro, you don't want the right to be able to film them, that you get to limit who gets to be a journalist or who gets to observe police activities and arrests or incidents in the town of Brattleboro, because some people, including a bar owner whose business does negatively.
Hank, your time is up, and I think that we have stretched the limits of public participation with these two. So stay tuned to see if we will determine whether or not we'll have additional
So final
discussion.
statement, I just am asking you guys not to bring this upon Brattleboro, because this issue is much larger, decided by people far smarter than any of us. And I don't think that we need to publicly shame the state of Vermont and the city of Brattleboro because of someone being upset.
Thank you very much. Steve Peterson.
So, okay. Let me go ahead. We'll put me back up. So there I was handing out the pocket constitutions from Turning Point USA that we got from Renee that we were just talking about. And so I put them to great usage defending the First Amendment against angry liberal women who wanted to create an ordinance that says that I am not allowed to passively film public officials from public vantage points, which I think that the First Amendment, the Bill of Rights, kind of holds jurisdiction over everybody's feelings and always will and always has. And in fact, is the exact reason you're allowed to have feelings about any controversial issues, especially leftist issues, everything that they have ever fought for. They used the First Amendment in order to create the speech that they needed to for everything that they wanted. And so did everybody. And so when these people decided that they wanted to try to trash me out, mischaracterize what I do, and say that all I do is film people at their most vulnerable and then, put it online for voyeurism clicks. It's just an unfounded, untrue, lazy takedown of what I do. It's not the truth at all. I follow a scanner. I don't target anybody. I don't target vulnerables. I go where the police calls on the scanner lead me to. That's how it works. There's no other way to get there. It's not like I just hang out under a bridge where homeless people are or wherever they are at the bus stop and just sit there waiting. And then when they get arrested after hours of waiting, I'm there. That's not how it works. I follow a scanner, and whatever crime is being committed, then I go to that. And sometimes that does include people that are in a vulnerable state. But my camera is passive. I don't say anything about what happened. I don't say anything during the police situation. I don't do anything. I film it. And so if they were abused or the officer was abused or anything happened at all, I would have a record of that, and it would be able to work against someone or, to defend somebody. And it has in several instances. And what about my coverage over the last few weeks between stabbings and a firefighter being attacked and people fighting? What is this? What is this anything about vulnerableness? I haven't had any there hasn't been any homeless people in my videos. A video of people getting that broke into someone's basement and were living in the basement in the cold weather. To them. And so it's important for people to be able to stand up and speak and defend themselves. And so I did. And I didn't always want to do that. I didn't want to. Let me see. I'm going to play the next video. It was a little uncomfortable at first. It's a pain in the ass. I didn't want to go down there and have to deal with this. She said, "Bring back Crackhead Joe." She said that woman is a poop head. She interrupted our hero. Thank you. Now, I'm going to play the clip from the select board. Now, what basically was happening there is that somebody made a formal complaint about me and was asking for an ordinance to be created, or for the topic of creating an ordinance to ban me to be added to a select board meeting so that we could discuss it further. So then the following week, this topic was added to the select board, and your boy basically had to go in there and again, for the second time, lay it down and defend the First Amendment against those who would like to infringe on your rights because they do not like what they are seeing when their city is filmed. When I film in their city, they don't like what's being seen and are saying that it's working against their marketing efforts. And they're worried about our digital footprint because, which a lot of people identified very quickly, is that it's just that. Their image of Brattleboro is just clever marketing, and that they would 100% try to attempt to censor and cover up the reality that so many of us have fallen victim to in this town. And so here I am when you get a win in this world, you got to hold it up. And so here I am on the front page of the Reformer again. And, you know, it's been a whole thing. They threw this posted sign at me, which would have been aggravated disorderly conduct if I was petty. A lot of people told me that I should press charges, you know. But here's my second comment, okay? And this one goes off too.
I'm Hank. I run Brattleboro News, Planet Hank, which we're all discussing at immense length for some reason. As everybody is discussing the First Amendment rules over this select board, over this town, over this country. And so I'm going to read something here. I am Hank. I am known as Planet Hank, a citizen journalist and a videographer in Brattleboro. I am speaking in response to Ms. Barre's recent complaint, which contains numerous inaccuracies, misrepresentations, and false allegations about my conduct. This appears to be a personal attack aimed at restricting my First Amendment rights to film and report on public police activities. There is no evidence of harassment on my part, and her efforts to silence independent journalism are unwarranted and unconstitutional. Now, I'm going to go through specifically via the correspondence that she sent everybody and, you know, some of the dialogue and back and forth that we've, you know, had.
You've got 54 seconds.
Okay, that's fine. You don't want to let me speak about me, that's fine.
I'm letting
Got
you
it.
speak.
But anyway, VSP Directive 350 does not exclude citizen journalists, even, you know, that was a misrepresentation and a mischaracterization of the law. Number 2, tactical liability and safety. So I have like over 1,000 videos plus 1,000 more that I haven't posted for my own reasons. And this has never come up that I have contaminated a police scene, that the officers, if they felt like I needed to move back, that they didn't tell me to move back and I wouldn't absolutely move back. The situation with this woman saying that I was on her property, she can hold up whatever sign she wants now. She should have put those signs up on her property and I would have been like, oh crap, no trespassing sign. But in our state, and in almost every state, when there's a public emergency, such as a fire, which is specifically listed, someone for the purposes of gathering news information can in fact follow first responders and film it, you know, and then immediately leave, which I did. As soon as they asked, or somebody, I didn't know who it was, they said, hey, you know, blah, blah, and I said, okay, and I just got in the car. There was no rude anything. There was no response to that. Moving
Madam
down.
Chair, time. Your time is up.
It says I have 26 more seconds.
No, it's those numbers are going up.
But anyway, you know.
Madam Chair, time. Excuse me. Thank you.
Okay. First Amendment.
All right.
First Amendment.
No, we have 2 more commenters.
Yes. And you hear them yelling. They were like, time. Don't let Hank tell the truth. Not at a public meeting. Hank is not allowed to have any time to discuss an entire meeting that is based on discussing me. I'm not allowed to speak, you know, and okay. And you can see why, because they're ill-equipped. They're ill-equipped against me. I'm a monster. You put that microphone on me, baby. You losing that debate. That's what I should have done, is slam the microphone down and said, that's how you debate. That's how you debate. I will always fight for the truth. When I make mistakes, I say I'm sorry. And when I am wronged, I will go to war. And so I'm tired of it. Don't go in there and try to pull some crap about it says the most vulnerable moments. Basically, what they did at the meeting was try any way they could to figure out how to get me. There is no, you know, oh, what about trespassing? What about somehow contaminating the evidence? How can we try to get him arrested for going and doing something wrong? You know, and then one of their points was, well, you know, they've got their weapons out and you got Hank there, and doesn't that cause a safety risk that he's distracting them while they're supposed to be concentrating? And then at the same time, they're like, shouldn't an officer be focused on if Hank broke any rules and that he can get arrested? It's like it's Hank derangement syndrome. And this is what I say. Shave your heads. Shave them. Shave your heads. shave all your hair off, scream at the sky, scream at the world. But here in America, we have the First Amendment, and it's to protect me. Public safety needs to be documented and shown so that we know what to be afraid of. We know what pitfalls are available, what dangers are in our communities, what we need to protect our children from, and what's going on. And somehow this convoluted anger towards me has now, took immaturely this approach, which I think embarrassed the entire town of Brattleboro. Tim Mulaney writes, keep doing you, brother. Absolutely. Ashley Bettis writes, how many businesses have closed? How many homes are for sale? No one ever talks about moving to Brattleboro or starting a business there. Brattleboro exposes itself every day. Don't have to be a journalist to see that. Just drive by through town and you'll see all its a long-winded complaint about me. So keep up with all the good work, Hank. You are making a difference. Keep up the good work. What you are doing is showing. What you are doing and showing should be lighting a fire under VT officials to stop focusing on other states or even countries' problems and focus on our own Vermonters in desperate need of housing and treatment. And that's really just it. I just made some videos about our House Representative Becca Balint and how she has attached herself to the events unfolding in Minnesota and wants to be on the forefront of protesting and these national issues that have no bearing on what she's been elected to represent. Minnesota does not need Becca Balint flying in to act like a political activist. That's not helping. That's hurting the state of Vermont. It's making us get involved in a divisive issue that causes all kinds of division in our state. We have people here who don't agree with her that she's supposed to be representing, and that what her work is doing is not helping them in any way. It's not representative of their values or what they want to have, anything. Like, they do not want Vermont being jammed into the front of a divisive, controversial public action and insurrection in Minnesota. He goes, if you hang out at the bus terminal on Flat Street, you could film all day. Exactly right. It's endless. And so, again, we're on the paper. We've got a lot of big things coming. Soon I'm going to be branching out. I was up in Montpelier at a very important meeting the other day. We've got the event coming up in Barre on the 20th. Please come out. I know it's a little bit of a drive, but it's so worth it to support this younger generation and to support Vermont. The best interests of Vermont are represented in my media, in my content, at these events and organizations that support us, and I highly recommend that everybody go out there. Now, it's been kind of cold out, and Vermont is in dead winter, and it's a little depressing, but let's take a look at the weather. Tonight, it's 20 degrees out. It's clear. Tomorrow, Friday, cloudy. High of 26. Saturday, it's going to snow. 60% snow. High of 24. Sunday, sunny. Monday, sunny. Tuesday, partly sunny and cloudy on Wednesday. Those are high temperatures. The temps have, I think, are scheduled to get really low into the zeros again. Brattleboro News Recap Show, the greatest show, the absolute finest entertainment. I love doing this show with you guys. And, I've got one more thing to do. Let me go ahead and play this because I know you guys. There we go. What I'm going to say is please put out 3 dog emojis in the comment section. I need 3 people to leave She goes, your audio's been cutting out. I know, it's the internet lagging. There we go. Put up these dog emojis for my boy Marco. 3 people got to put 3 dog emojis up, and we are going to take this down. There we go. We got one person did it. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. And this boy right here, who is the finest dog in the land, he is going to, there they go. Wait a minute. Yep, that's 3. I counted them. All right, we need one more person. Go ahead. One more person. Don't try to grab it, sir. Do not try. There we go, Terry Lynn. Thank you very much. Marco, you got it. Thank you to everybody for always supporting me, always being the very best people in my life, my followers, my supporters, my friends. You are my little family of, I don't know what we'll call us. What do we call us? Hanksters. You're my family of hanksters, and I love you guys all the time. Thanks for watching, and go share up all my reels. Share them. I need them shared. Sharing builds this and gives us power. It literally gives us power.
Planet Hank Live. The absolute finest entertainment on the internet. Join us in fighting back against evil.
It's hotter than a blacktop in July, sweating like a sinner in a church, and I just wanna get out with my crew tonight and shoot at the lights. Got a couple 40s full of